Yes lads, and welcome back to another video today. This time is none other than the National League predictions. Before we do get into this video, make sure you like and subscribe and tap that bell for more notifications as we end to upload if you do enjoy these type of videos. We do have another video coming tomorrow in terms of the Wrexham versus Eastleigh preview for the first National League game of the season, which we delve into a lot of detail in, so make sure you do check that out as well. So this video, in terms of which teams will go down, which teams will get promoted, we don't know until we take a delve into the predictions that I've made. Don't take this too heavily in my judgment, because if you've seen the reaction to the last predictions video, I do highly check that out, because there were some blunders that absolutely made that video in terms of the mistakes that I made in these predictions. But for now, guys, hopefully you do enjoy the video, but if not, you know, it is what it is. Not everyone's going to agree with that, but for now, we'll jump in to what I predict in the National League prediction table for the 2022-23 season. So for this, now is the relegation predictions from 24th to 21st. On the left hand side of the screen as well is last season's table with only 23 teams in, but for this season we've got 24. So for 24th place and bottom of the league, relegated, I have gone for Altrincham. They've lost Dan Mooney to Southend United, and in my eyes they have not replaced him at all for someone who's National League proven and National League worthy. I mean, if there was a man to watch, however, it'd be Marcus Denanga, who they signed from Dartford, who got 13 goals in 10 league appearances for Dartford. So he's a man to watch in sense of, will he do well? How's he doing at the moment? I couldn't really tell you, but it's one of them, really. It's one of them. And I mean, for me, Altrincham, the squad size as well, they've not really brought in enough quality for what they've let go. You know, Dan Mooney to Southend United is a big loss for Altrincham and can possibly hinder their season. I know they did finish 14th last season, and it's a big drop, 10 places from 14th to the bottom of the league. But let's start off with some controversy, which is how we like it on this channel. But in 23rd place, however, we've got Maidenhead United. Now, Maidenhead United do have a small squad, if you don't mind me saying. They've lost out on Josh Kelly to Solihull Moors, who was Maidenhead's top goal scorer last season. And in my eyes, he's not replaced with anybody who could score goals. I mean, looking at the stats, I don't think there's anyone in that team that scored over 5 league goals in the forward line last season. So, for me, 23rd it is for Maidenhead United. I mean, it possibly could have been 24th if I didn't make these predictions a few days ago before any transfers did happen. I mean, but let's move on to Eastleigh in 22nd now. For me, Eastleigh have lost out on too many players, but they brought in very few to replace them. I mean, the man to watch for me is Danny Whitehall, and probably the same game on Saturday, Wrexham against Eastleigh. The man to watch for me, for Eastleigh anyway, is Danny Whitehall. I mean, he seems to bang in the goals for them. You know, Eastleigh have even lost out on Tyrone Barnett, who scored 8 goals in the league last season. I mean, for me, Danny Whitehall is Eastleigh's only saving grace from relegation, and if that was to happen, it was to happen. But at the moment, it's only 22nd that I can see for Eastleigh. Now in 21st, and moving on to the end of this relegation predictions, we have got Dorking Wanderers. Now Dorking Wanderers, for me, the newly promoted, they could surprise a few, including myself. I mean, I 100% say that and 100% stick by that. They could surprise myself, they could surprise the whole league. To have them 21st, probably might be a bit of a surprise. However, for me, there's not enough quality in the signings that they've made. You know, signing likes of Jack Jebb, they've signed the former Tranmere Rovers Bromley man, Adam Meckie from Ebbsfleet on a free transfer. So for me, it's 21st and relegated for Dorking Wanderers, and that completes the relegation side of things. So we'll now move on to the next lot of predictions. So the predictions we have got for the avoid the drop, we have got 20th place Maidstone United, 19th place Aldershot Town, 18th place Gateshead, 17th place Wealdstone. Now let's go to a few. So we'll start off with Maidstone United in 20th position. Big squad, fair play to them. Very surprising to see some names in there, in my opinion, such as George Ellacobi, Gavin Hoyt, but fair play, fair play. But for me, Maidstone will just avoid the drop now. Knowingly he's not done well lately, for me, James Alabi is the man to watch, and now to see if he can actually revive his career. I mean, I remember when he was at Chester doing well. Chester went from Chester to Tranmere Rovers. It was meant to be this next big thing for James Alabi, and he didn't work out there. Went to Leyton Orient, didn't work out there. Went to Bromley, didn't work out there. And now he's at Maidstone United. So, can it work out for him? Can he revive his career? I mean, it's down to his attitude and what he really wants to do with things like that. But for me, it's 20th place and just avoiding the drop for Maidstone United. Now we'll move in to 19th place in Aldershot Town. I mean, even though they've made a lot of signings, Effiong from Woking, McQuaid from Weymouth, even Francis Amati from Hayden Yedden, for me, like, it's just one of them really. Aldershot Town the past few years have been around the 19th place, the 20th position. I'm pretty sure they only just got saved from relegation on the points per game, or was it just the league got cancelled or something like that when COVID. I mean, I think they just got saved from relegation or something like that. I'm not too sure. I mean, as I said, I don't really know much about the National League apart from last season and what's happened there. I mean, for me, if there was a man to watch though, it would be Francis Amati. Can he bring that quality that he possessed with Hayes and Yedden last season into the National League? I mean, it's questionable. Can he do it? I mean, we have seen some players do it, but can he do it? It's a different question. I mean, if he does, he's got a great start to his career in the National League and potentially go Football League. I mean, but 18th place then, moving on, we'll go to Gateshead. I mean, it's a controversial one. I mean, they have made experienced signings such as Dan Jarvis from Wrexham. I mean, but however though, they have lost Macaulay Longstaff to Notts County, so I mean, that's a huge loss for them. So they brought in an experienced player and a central midfielder in Jarvis to lose the top goal scorer. So the question is now, can Adam Campbell step up for Gateshead and do the business for them? If he can, they'll avoid the drop. If he can't, I can see them being in that relegation position, whether it's 21st, 22nd, 23rd. But for me, it's questionable. Can Gateshead avoid the drop? But for me, it's 18th place, and I do expect Adam Campbell to step up this season. Now, 17th position, and moving on to the last of the teams to avoid the drop is Wealdstone. Now, for me, they've made steady experience signings. Now, for me, there's nothing to suggest that Wealdstone should be in the relegation in the bottom four, but it doesn't spell to me that it should be in the bottom half of the table either. I mean, just avoiding the drop probably makes sense. I mean, there's probably teams of better quality such as Barnet and, you know, Southend United, Yeovil Town, Torquay United, Bromley, Bournemouth. I mean, the teams go on. For me, they are better than Wealdstone on paper. But yeah, I mean, for me, if there was a man to watch, it'd be Olamola, the man they signed from Hartlepool, I believe it was. So let's see if he can be the main man for Wealdstone. But for now, we'll move on to the bottom half of the table predictions. So for the bottom half predictions, we have got in 16th place Barnet. Now Barnet are making steady signings to improve the side, to be fair. Sean Shields from Weymouth, Ben Winter from Torquay United will be key in my opinion. Like, them signings will be key in my opinion. I mean, also, you need to keep a hold on of Ethan, Mason Clark and Daniel Powell too. But for me, 16th just sits right with Barnet. I mean, watching them last season, they weren't brilliant against Wrexham. I mean, what's happening there, I don't know. But moving on to 15th place, we have got Woking. Now, this is controversial because they could be a bit higher. For me, looking at it properly, they should be a bit higher in the predictions in terms of on paper. But for me, 15th is Woking. They've signed experienced signings in Pedrick and Mond and Sid Nelson. Now, Sid Nelson being a former National League, was it National League or was it League 2 promotion winner or something like that with Tranmere Rovers. I mean, Pedrick and Mond is there really much to speak about in terms of his FA Cup that he's known for, and not winning the FA Cup, but the goals, the vital goals with Newport County and his time at Newport County in League 2. I mean, it's mental, isn't it? It's absolutely mental how, and no disrespect to Woking, but they're smaller in terms of the National League pyramid compared to other teams. So how a team like Woking can get signings like Pedro Gamond and Sid Nelson, it's beyond me. I mean, them two should be at teams like, I don't know, Chesterfield, Dagenham and Redbridge maybe. It's absolutely mental. Now, moving on into 14th place, we have got Bromley. Now, even though they've lost a lot of players, I'm telling you now, last season's FA Trophy winners, Bromley, they're not short of quality, 100% not. Michael Cheek, for me, will be the man to watch for them. So, yeah, it's one of them. It's 14th for Bromley in my eyes. I mean, if you guys do disagree, let me know down in the comments down below. Where would you put this table of National League predictions so far? But 13th place, we've got Yeovil Town. Now, it's hard to speak about teams in my eyes that come to the bottom half / mid-table because I don't really know much about them, but I try and give as much detail and information as possible. Now, Yeovil Town making steady signings, as I say, practically for every other team, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. It's Linton. He's the man to watch for Yeovil, as he played for Kingsland Town last season, back at 8 league goals. Now, for me, Yeovil Town are a better team than Kingsland Town, so can Linton do better and get more goals in a better team? I'd say yes, providing on how he settles and how he does. But for me, 13th place for Yeovil Town. Now, in 12th place, we've got Torquay United, making some decent signings from Football League clubs this time. Torquay have also lost a lot of players, notably being Joe Lewis to Stockport County in League 2. I mean, for me, Torquay are just struggling to keep hold of the better players, which is why, for me, they fall further and further away from the playoffs. But for me, it's 12th for Torquay United. But now, guys, we are going to go on to the mid-table predictions to see who finishes, in my predictions, between 11th and 8th, being 8th place, just missing out on the National League playoffs. So now it's time for the mid-table predictions. So we'll start off in 11th place with Boreham Wood. Now, making notable signings of Enrico Souza and Jack Payne could be key for Boreham Wood this season. However, the notable departures of Jacob Mendy to Wrexham and Kane Smith to Stevenage could also be vital, as they are two key players of the many Boreham Wood have lost this season. So for me, it makes sense for 11th place for Boreham Wood. Now, in 10th place, we are going to move on to Scunthorpe United. Now, making signings from Football League clubs. Scunthorpe look strong candidates, you know, to be in the playoffs. But for me, the only thing that lets them down is Keith Hill, the manager of Scunthorpe United. Now, for me, that spells out 10th place in the first season in the National League this season for Scunthorpe after getting relegated from League 2. So that's the first of two relegated League 2 clubs that we have noted in this video as well. But moving on into 9th place, we have got York City, which is a mad bold prediction, but for me, 9th place it is for York City. I'll go through all the signings they've made, but it's too many, and they've lost a lot as well. But for me, the quality of the signings that they've actually made, York City, for the first season back in the National League, is absolutely incredible. So for me, 9th place in the first season of the National League for York City spells, it just sits right with me. I mean, for 8th place as well, we've got Southend United. Now, for me, making more notable signings of Dan Mooney from Altrincham and Jake Hyde on loan from Wrexham, you know, that does bring firepower if the service is provided. Now, they will have a clinical striker in Jake Hyde as well if he does get the service and if he can get ticking on at Southend United. Now, the only thing for me that's a letdown is losing Sam Dolby to Wrexham. Now, Southend, for me, they can improve on last season, but it's the manner that they do it in. If they can get them two strikers working alongside each other and working together, it can be proven vital for Southend to actually get in the playoffs. But for me, as it stands at the moment, I have gone for 8th place and just missing out on the playoffs for Southend United. So let me think what you make of these predictions so far. And now, guys, we'll move into the playoff predictions. So now with the playoff predictions, in 7th place is FC Halifax Town. Now, the signing of Manny Daisawery can be key if played to his strengths. And I mean, I've seen what he's like at Tranmere Rovers. He was an absolute donkey, but then goes to Grimsby and he's absolutely phenomenal. It's like, if you can play to his strengths, you've got a man there that can score goals. Now, the signings of Jamie Stott, Jordan Keane and Sam Minihan from Stockport County can also improve the defence as well. It's three big signings from the National League champions at the 2021-22 season. Could see them being in the playoffs this season, but for me the reason why they're in 7th is because the playoff position areas are much more competitive and much more harder, in my opinion, than last season with Scunthorpe, Southend, you know, Oldham Athletic now, who we've not yet seen in this video. But yeah, for me it's 7th place for FC Halifax Town now. In 6th place, it's a bold one, again a controversial decision in Dagenham and Redbridge. Now shown class towards the end of the season, just merely missing out on playoffs. For me in 6th place is Dagenham and Redbridge, making very little signings. The most notable departure to date is Joey Jones to Solihull Moors, which is a big loss for Dagenham and Redbridge. For me, if Dagenham Red can improve on last season, in that, you know, merely missing off in the playoffs, they'll be in the playoffs for sure. They do have a quality side, Dagenham and Redbridge. Whether I should have included someone like Southend in the playoffs and moved Halifax up a spot, maybe just missed Dagenham and Redbridge out. I say it's that competitive this season. In my eyes, I've gone Dagenham and Redbridge in 6th position, now in 5th place. Another controversial decision made by myself today is Chesterfield. Now, even though Kabongo Shamanga is back for Chesterfield, is he the same man that he left before he got injured? That's a big question and a big statement to make. But if he can keep his form, they're much higher than 5th for sure, and that's a guarantee. But the signings of Ollie Banks and Michael Giassi are a big statement signings for Chesterfield, a big improvement to the side, which is, however, I do have them in 5th though. It's one of them. Not really much I can say about that. I don't believe Kabongo Shamanga will come back the man that before he got injured. But let's see what the case is on that one. But finishing off the playoff predictions, in 4th place we do have Solihull Moors, which puts out the signings of Joey Jones and Alex Reid are the ones to watch for Solihull this season, especially Alex Reid. I know he featured 13 times in the league, scoring 1 goal. I do expect them to turn it around. I expect them majorly to turn it around. Now for me, Solihull's side are an absolute unit. Now, it doesn't matter if they make no signings, they're still going to be an absolute unit of a side. They're a cohesive unit, they work well, they play for each other, which is the reason why they were in the playoff final last season. For me, it's the reason why they're in the playoff positions in this table prediction this season. You know, if they are anything like last season, they will be a side to watch out for. There'll be surprising teams. Obviously, being in the playoffs is no surprise of its own. But for me, they'll definitely be up there. So it is 4th place for Solihull Moors. And now, guys, it leaves us down to 3 teams. So we will be discussing the team in 3rd place in this predictions. So for 3rd place on the screen right now, as you can see, is none other than Notts County. More notably losing Kyle Wotton to Stockport County, who was the Notts County's main man last season. They have replaced him with Macaulay Langstaff from Gateshead. Now, for me, that's a replaceable signing. It's a signing you can get behind. Fair play, he's done the business for Gateshead, the National League North. Can he replicate it in a much better side in Notts County, but this time in a much harder league of being the National League? My answer to that is I think he can. I genuinely think he can. Now a signing of Aidan Baldwin as well from MK Dons, who is a centre half, also strengthens that defence for Notts County as well. So for me, it is 3rd place for Notts County, which leaves us with 2 teams, Wrexham and Oldham Athletic. So which one have I put in 2nd place? We'll find out in a second. So 2nd place has gone to Oldham Athletic. Now, there's a big difference, and we'll talk about Wrexham in a second, but this is now about Oldham Athletic. Now, the more notable departure Davis Kelly had done to Burton Albion is probably one of the reasons why, but it's also betting on Chris Porter to do the business. Now, Oldham Athletic have problems with the owners, and now they've got new owners. They can start signing players in my eyes again and getting that team to where they need to be. Signing Zane Francis Angle from Hartlepool, Chris Porter from Crewe Alexandra, you know, Liam Hogan, who's an experienced player winning the National League with Stockport County last season, and also played for Tranmere Rovers and Salford City and teams like that. You know, Lois Maynard, who also went from Stockport County, Luke Burgess going from Salford City. You know, you got Ben Tollett, Anyone knows him, he's got promise, and anyone's watching him. As long as he can stay fit, he's got promise and he can do the business. But there's a reason why Oldham Athletic are in second, and the reason why Wrexham are for first, and it'll separate the sides in a minute. But yeah, I say, if them signings can kick off, you know, Oldham Athletic have a very experienced, mature side there that can do the business, providing on any further signings being the right signings. But for me, it's second for Oldham Athletic. So now comes the time. It is Wrexham in first place and league champions for me. There's a reason why, and I'm going to discuss these signings just off the bat. Off the back of my hand, we got Elliot Lee from Luton, Championship Luton, who featured at Charlton Athletic, I believe, last season. Mark Howard coming from Carlisle United, Jordan Tunnicliffe from Crawley Town, Anthony Ford from Oxford United, Sam Dalby from Southend United, Jacob Mendy from Boreham Wood. You know, it's players like that, the difference between second place and league champions if they can get kicking on. And look at Wrexham towards the end of last season. For me, if they don't win the league this season or even get promotion, it's an absolute curse. An absolute curse. But, you know, I understand Wrexham have let some players go, but for me, they've still got Paul Mullen, Ollie Palmer, Jordan Davis, you've got Luke Young, Ben Tozer, Aaron Hayden. The team's just phenomenal, and that's in all positions. It is a phenomenal side, and for me, it's Wrexham League champions, and it just is what it is on that front. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the predictions so far. But one last thing we need to talk about is who wins the playoffs of the National League 2022-23 season. So the last thing we needed to talk about was who wins the playoffs of the Vanarama National League 2022-23 season, and my predictions. I'm giving it to Chesterfield now for me. Chesterfield, Kabongo Shamanga, Ollie Banks, you know, the sign. We discussed Chesterfield before, but for me, we have given the National League playoff winners to Chesterfield on promotion back to League 2. Now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments down below. And also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you smash a subscribe and a thumbs up on the channel as well. Let me know where they've gone wrong. It is, do you know what, predictions are harder than anything in the world, and I hope you guys do understand that. It's just a bit of fun. And best of luck to everyone in the Vanarama National League Game Week 1. I am covering the next few game weeks within the National League. I believe it's all of August I am covering so far in the National League. Could soon to be September, October, November, December, all the way through to the season end. But at the moment it does stand, I am covering the August season, or the August of the Vanarama National League, which I am looking forward and absolutely buzzing to do so. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for more notifications as I do upload. And until next time, guys, I shall see you guys on the Wrexham versus Eastleigh preview tomorrow.